Hi, I say your answer about removing the head of a Bilt TB525 EC gas trimmer. I too need to replace the entire head. Can you be more specific? By the slot above the housing, do you mean the slot in the outer tubing shaft? Mine has a plastic collar that covers this with a green dot on it. I have tried to slide a small screwdriver into this slot and under this collar, but it does not seem to do anything. The people at Lowe's tell me this head is not removable. Thanks.
Hello, and thank you for choosing JustAnswer. I'll be helping you today and am committed to providing clear and concise answers to your question. In the plate above the head you will see a small slot I've pointed out with a red arrow. You can use a punch, preferred, or even a screwdriver to keep the shaft from turning. If you turn it and feel inside, you should find a spot where you can wedge the punch to lock it in place so you can turn the head. Be warned, the head is often on there quite tight, so get ready to grunt a bit.
Hi Rick, your diagram does not look like my TB525. On mine all I have above the red plastic housing is the black curved tube, and on this tube there is a small plastic collar with a green dot on it. I cannot find anything that looks like the slot that your red arrow points to.
What is the model and serial of your TB525, please? Unfortunately, Bilt reuses those designations, but your model and serial will identify it. You must have a different style head than the TB525 I referenced. TB model info.
Hi Rick, model is TB525 ECSN is 1E152DZ1279. Let me know, thanks.
There's a missing number before the serial. Bilt trimmer model should look similar to 41 at 52C966. Handheld products always start with a 41 or 42. Do you see a number like on the tag?
Hi, there is a tag, label, on the motor unit that says, SN, 1E152DZ1279. That's what I sent. On the shaft, just above the on/off switch, is another label. It reads, 41 adds 52C766. It's not labeled as a S. N, it's on a barcode sticker. Hopefully that is the number we need. Let me know, thanks.
Thank you. That's the one. Yours uses the same head, but the cover over the end of the shaft is different. It still looks like there's a slot there. Does the cover on the end of the shaft turn when the head turns? Any slots or cutouts in it? Is it metal? This is too new a part to have an inventory yet, or I'd eyeball it. And Lowe's is mistaken. It is removable. Otherwise Bilt would not sell the head separately.
Yes, this looks like mine. The green arrow on the left, in your diagram, points to a slot or groove in the black shaft. This slot is partially covered by the black collar, the green arrow on the right, which has a green dot painted on it. This collar spins freely on the black shaft. It does turn when the head turns, but only because it's sitting there. If I hold the collar in one hand the head will still turn, so they do not appear to be connected. The head assembly is plastic. I have tried pushing a small screwdriver along the length of this slot, and then underneath the collar. But it does not seem to catch on anything.
At this point, I'm afraid I don't know the correct answer yet. I've never seen one that didn't use either a pin or spanner wrench to hold the shaft while you spin off the head, or optionally use a push nut to hold the upper spool housing in place. Yours doesn't use the push nut. I know that head is threaded. That's a different style from last season. Yours was born on May 15th of this year, but I know for sure the head is replaceable from looking at the parts list. I can do a bit of investigation and let you know, or I can opt out and see if one of the other experts has seen this one yet. Which would you prefer?
Go ahead and investigate, thanks. A thought: this lower assembly detaches from the main body, and at the other end of the tube is the rod that connects to the motor. This rod turns when the head turns. If I were to hold the rod with some pliers, would the head spin off? Or could I damage the rod in trying? I don't want to try it if there is a danger of damage.
This is a curved shaft unit, so it takes a flexible drive cable inside that would likely be damaged in the process. I would not recommend it. I'll be back in touch tomorrow. Good morning, just a quick update. I went to Lowe's to take a look since I didn't have one of this style. They still had the old one on display, but the third box I opened was the new version. Gotta admit, I'm not impressed with the change. There's no longer a locking mechanism that I can determine. I've got a service call into the factory to get their input, and will let you know as soon as I get a response. Thank you. Rick 41081.6495988426.
I have to admit I am very impressed with your help. Even if no solution is found, I will give you a 110% feedback. Thanks, XXXXXXXXXX. Know what you find out.
Thank you so much. I'll keep in touch. Just an update to let you know I haven't heard back from Bilt yet. They sometimes take 2 to 3 workdays to reply. Didn't want you to think I had forgotten.
Thanks, XXXXXXXXXX. Wait to hear. Joe.
I appreciate your patience. Have a good weekend. Hi Joe, got an answer from Bilt that I questioned just to be sure, and they are saying the correct method now indeed is to remove the lower boom and grip the exposed drive at the top of the lower boom with a clamp or pliers to hold it in place for removal of the head. When I asked them why this method was applied now but was frowned upon so heavily in the past, I really didn't get an answer. I would suggest a pair of carefully placed vice grips, adjusted tight enough to grip but not so tight as to damage the shaft. Sorry for the delay, but sure I hope this helps. Keep me posted please.
Any idea if the head threads right or left on the shaft? I grip the shaft with vice grips, but I cannot seem to loosen the head in either direction, even with considerable force. Perhaps I should just return the entire unit. Thoughts?
At our Lowe's in town, they still had some of last season's style on the shelf. I don't personally consider the new style an upgrade, so if a swap is an option I would strongly consider it. As far as the head direction, if you are facing the head from the bottom, it comes off counterclockwise. It's standard right-hand thread.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit justanswer.com/ythi.